You often hear around the community people talking about a level and saying if it's good or bad. However, we don't really know if the level is actually good or if the person just has low standards. Levels are always determined by a few things that make it good. Even one of them being horrible and the rest amazing can still make the level not as good as it could be, or even worse, bad. However, what are the things that can make a level good? How can you execute them? Today I have tried my best with the opinions of some amazing creators to explain on what makes a level good in a bit of detail. Let's begin with something you wouldn't really expect, the music or song. Geometry Dash is one of those games that depend a lot on music. Without music, the level would become a lot more boring since it wouldn't create the feeling of sync, which is basically how well the song goes with the level. Let's take an example. Your level must have an actual song that has some sort of melody to it, and preferably a build-up, a drop, and an end. This makes your level much more interesting, and you could also make your level more intense than it actually is. In Silico is a good example of this. The level by itself is intense, but with the music combined, it makes for a whole new experience. The feeling music gives to a level is a lot more than you would actually think. Your level can single-handedly depend on the song for it to make sense. Dark Travel is one of those levels. Some parts are only based on how the music sounds, like that one bubble part and the glitch effects. If the music wasn't there, all of those wouldn't make sense, and they would just be weird to place in the level. Music can also make a level more memorable. Some levels in JD aren't only known for their good design and gameplay, but can also be known for their song tracks they have chosen. Space Magic, believe it or not, would be a lot less memorable if support weren't to choose Space Magic by Mega Neko, since it fits the level perfectly with its theme. The level is supposed to have a sense of mystery, but also some sort of magic behind it. The parts before entering the city are greatly supported by its music and its magical feeling. Now that is basically what music can do to a level, which is quite a lot, but what makes a level good creating wise? You of course have to make a level, and uploading a 1 minute level with nothing and just a song sure won't do you anything. It's not a level after all. So what should you start, and what to focus on more? Or is everything equally important? First of all, you usually would want to start with the gameplay of the level you're making. This is how the level will be played and what players will experience, assuming you're not making an auto level. Gameplay must be fun, meaning it will not frustrate the player easily. This is usually hard to achieve on a game like this, but try your best. Try adding good sync. Click sync is often preferable as it's much more satisfying to your level. This makes it so it's much more enjoyable to play and to listen to the music as well. Flow is another important aspect of gameplay as well. As stated by Jamscone, a skilled gameplay creator, he basically says that flow is how well the parts of a layout go together. Flow is making sure that everything in the layout is connected. What I mean by this is that each movement you use should fit with the next one. It also means your gameplay fits the song well, using powerful movements for loud notes and smaller movements for quieter notes. And as you saw, flow must fit with the song, so that means the speed of your layout must fit with how fast the song goes, and must somewhat sync. Now let's assume you're making a 7-star harder level, and not a demon. Your gameplay must be sight readable, therefore, meaning the player does not have to pre-practice the level to beat it. Sight reading is greatly supported by the camera controls, not the 2.2 ones of course. Every game mode has some borders in it, so you don't exit the map. Transitioning sometimes into them takes a while, and sometimes you don't have enough time to react, so try making the camera controls as smooth as possible, meaning that they don't change rapidly and much every 2 seconds. There is also this feature that when you put multiple portals of the same game mode, excluding the robot and cube, that the player will continue going higher and higher. This is extremely useful for long notes in music. This is a good alternative to dash orbs and other things. The last way you can use camera controls is with triggers, which consists of you changing the location of the portal with movements or something else. Now the last step for you summarizing your gameplay is expression in your gameplay. As Jamscone said, it's basically big movements for loud notes, small movements for quiet notes. So before you begin making your layout, start by analyzing your song. Try looking for anything unique that your song has. It usually involves identifying any unique samples the song may have and singing to it in a way that is fitting. While it's true that this is important, It's equally important to express the melody well. Use movements with a lot of gravity, like a mini cube jump if the song is more bouncy. Use sharp, rapid movements, and maybe change speeds if the song has some quick or sharp notes. Now all you have to do is actually implement them to your level. First of all, think of what difficulty you want the level to be. Hard, insane, or even a demon. That's so your level isn't inconsistent in difficulty, meaning one part is harder than the rest. Now start by making your base layout, meaning you make something like a draft without complete structures or gameplay. This step is optional, but it's recommended to do if you don't have a basic idea of what your layout is about. A good way to get some ideas is to look up for some good layouts. Ilrel, Convi, and Penuto are good for inspiration. Try looking at some of them to get going. But I'm just going to show you some good layouts to get an idea. As you saw, all of them had amazing flow or amazing sync. So here is where it gets tricky. Try thinking of what your layout is about. Click sync, visual sync, a normal fun layout, or amazing flow. This will determine on what style you're going to build, and it's going to be important for the decoration. However, after you choose on what you'll build on, don't forget a good flow layout must also have good sync. It just won't be focused around it. So let's say you're building a flow layout or a click sync one. You have finished the layout, so you're ready for the deco. But wait, bugs. Before going anywhere else, fix those bugs. Try making it as smooth as possible. Let's look at some common things that are buggy. 1. Slopes. They usually are very glitchy. Take extra care of them. 2. Close transitions. Basically, when you nearly miss a portal. 3. Skips. Please try to copy-paste invisible objects, even if the skip is hard to do. Try doing some weird things when playtesting, and if something feels odd, fix it or change it. After you fix the bugs, get a person to play the level if you can. This will give them their choice of you. This will make the player less angry and won't feel cheated by the level, basically feeling that they didn't die because they made a mistake, but rather because it wasn't fair. Now your layout should be done, so what is left is the deco. A lot of people get intimidated by today's standards and always are scared that their level won't be good. But that's more so because they only actually look at the deco but don't care about the gameplay or structure or even some basics. As Sikwek said, a level can be as good by good color usage, theme adaptation, sync fluidity, and even something as basic as structuring. However, he also did say it comes down to personal preference, as everyone holds one different standard higher than the other. So try focusing on everything when designing a level. You should try starting off with the structures. Good structures are essential to your level, and go as far as saying that they're even more important than the actual deco, since it basically holds up your block deco. Try avoiding square structures, since they get really boring and they're really hard to deco. Try getting some inspirations, or build some simple structures and start expanding them. Slopes are a good way to start, with either the 45-degree ones or the 22.5 ones. They make your block design a lot more complex and a lot more interesting. By complex, I don't mean core, I mean it's a lot more interesting and has a unique feel to it, and isn't very basic. So let's get into the editor. As we see, we have our structure for the layout we built. Aren't they very basic? Let's try adding on to them. Try adding some slopes or an inner structure, which is another structure inside. If your structure is too big, to deco, split it up or try to fill it with ground spikes, which we'll come across later. Now do this to all your structures. Try using similar structures throughout the level so it isn't very random. After you're done with the structures, think of what style you'll build in. Modern, tech, glow, it can be anything. Try looking through some modern levels if you want to build modern, and even some tutorials. Or if you want glow, do the same but with glow, levels and tutorials. I myself am more of a glow creator rather than anything else, or so they call design creators, so I can really discuss about a modern level. But let's look into something that goes for any style. Creativity. Try thinking of something new, go around levels, get some ideas, or even looking through random things and maybe getting inspired. Experiment as much as you can, it's worth your while. Once you think you made something, ask for feedback, go to random servers and post your works, or even go some to the bigger boys like the mods or good creators, so they can give you some good tips. A level is considered good when it has one good feel to it, not necessarily everything has to be amazing. Every level can have a better aspect than another, and after all, no level is completely perfect. However, levels tend to need to have the following design choices for them to stay interesting: theming, movements and dynamics of the deco, and a proper style. All of this helps a level's atmosphere. Theming is the first thing I mentioned. It can basically carry your level's design, even if it's not that good. Try to always have a sort of idea of what your level is going to be about. Will you be in a cave, escaping an island, or traveling? You can do anything, just be sure you got it down. Try thinking if your theme is going to be emotional or design, meaning will your player feel happy, sad, etc. Or will the level just look like you're traveling through something without an emotion. If you want some emotion in your level, make sure it fits the song, and if it will be sad or happy, and if you're making a design theme, think of what you will experience. I'm not going to touch on too much anymore on this since HA Fod made a really good video on themes and you should definitely go watch it. Now, apart from a theme, a level must have some good movements and dynamic. That doesn't necessarily mean move triggers, but mostly how lively the level is. A good level can't be static or boring and must be interesting. The design you're seeing must be something you will focus on, not because it's messy and ugly, but because it is interesting and a lot is happening. Try using animated objects, glow for atmosphere and some movement as well with a combination of objects. Desice is an amazing example. All of his levels are really interesting and so much is going on that nothing looks boring. He doesn't use many movements, but the way he places the objects and his atmosphere is amazing. However, I think he lacks is in some of his colors. Colors are essential to make a level lively and interesting. All your colors must be fitting with one another and the combination should either be unique or instead of having two colors, have multiple. Pulses and colors in Deco can basically be the highlight of the level. JF's level Speedballing, apart from its amazing and almost perfect sync, it has amazing pulses and colors. If you look closely, the design itself isn't anything special and is very basic, but the pulsing and colors make up for it. Colors are separated into two sections: analogous and complementary colors. Analogous colors are the ones who are basically close to each other, close to the color wheel basically, and complementary are the ones that are on the other side of the color wheel. Both of these are great to be used in your levels. Analogous colors complement usually a grey level or a level that you're traveling through somewhere, and complementary ones that you're going something like another dimension or even having a more insane journey. Of course they can just be used to give some better atmosphere and make the level less boring, but they could be used for many different things. Modern levels require a lot on their color usage and maybe even dependent in them. Colors must always be pleasant to the eye and not something you would rather look away. Another thing is to try not focusing one with many colors in different places. Having a rainbow effect is fine, especially if it's smooth, but if it's flashing all over the place, you might as well have one color. Another thing is, except from basic colors, is shading. Shading helps in all kinds of levels, from art to glow. It gives your level a bit of shape and makes it much cleaner. Now that's basically all the good features a good level must have. Of course there's more, but there's the basic ones. So to summarize, a good level is one that has good gameplay and good deco. If it fails one, it's gonna be hard to be a decent level. As Jerkrat said, an extremely old creator who recently returned, said that the most important thing that makes a level good is gameplay. You can make an art level with amazing deco, but if the gameplay is not good, it does not result in a good experience. But if you make killer gameplay and decorate decently well, it'll be 10 times better and people are most likely to come back. Visuals are also important. If you can master both gameplay and deco, you'll go far. A lot of people tend to overlook gameplay, but it can be even more important than the deco. For example, in Extreme Demons, as Aphorism or Orisus stated, he said they're good with fun gameplay. However, that is a vague answer since he said that everyone has personal preferences. He even went as far as saying deco doesn't matter at all, at least for him. I also went to and asked Nepesta to see his opinion, and he said this: An extreme demon is made by having fun, semi-click heavy gameplay, and being balanced so the first half is harder than the second. The pre-drop can't be boring, and can't have any super difficult clicks that are way harder than the rest for no apparent reason. Some being good helps too. Deco shouldn't get in the way of the gameplay, the entire level can't be at 4 times speed, you gotta have some variety, don't gotta go heavy on duels, avoid just spamming the wave and ship either. Micro clicks are a no, hard robots and spiders are not fun. Keep the timing game modes easier than the others, and most importantly, anything longer than 2 minutes and a half is a mistake in my opinion. 90 seconds is the perfect in my opinion. Of course that is just his opinion, but he makes a lot of points on what you can make a level good, basically stating that everything plays a role. Now, before I end it off, I want you to think that the levels you see are really good. There are many levels that are just so overhyped and legendary that people tend to overlook its flaws. If you want to analyze a level, make sure it has good gameplay, that has good sync, flow and it's fun. And also make sure the deco is clean, creative and appealing. A good level must also be memorable. You can't have a level that you will play one day and you will forget the next day. So in the end of the day, a level to be good must have everything good. I know that sounds a bit weird and a bit harsh on a level, but it's the truth. You can't have a level with bad gameplay and but amazing deco, or another example, a level with amazing block deco but horrible air deco. Everything should be balanced and enjoyable for one to play. For you to start creating and implementing these things to your level, try starting off simple. If you see you have some weakness on one building technique, practice until you consider it good and later on if others do as well. Anyways, I want to mention a few of my favorite levels and why they are amazing for me, but that's for another video. Let me know down in the comments below if you'd like to see it. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video, leave a like if you enjoyed and be sure to let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. But for now, I'll see you next time. Goodbye!